Yeah, so I like the word excitement, but in excitement, there is the element of shock or sudden change or unexpected discoveries or explorations. So uh, that momentum to make things different or to change things or make a special mark on society or do something special or different, that's great. And when it lines up with Saturn, great things can be done. But since everybody born on the planet for 7 years has Uranus in the same sign, it really isn't all that exciting. It's unique to that. You're trying to make that sign unique and stand out as something a little special, a little different than the norm. But when you have Uranus and Saturn being in the same sign, you really have to integrate these two together. You're trying to find the radical structure, and you're having to make the commitment to the structure too. So it's like you have to have the union and the company together working on the same team. It's almost like in Canada, if we were going to have a government, the real proper government should be the Conservatives take care of the business, the Liberals take care of the socially conscious elements around, or and the NDP takes care of the union-related matters. And if there were 3 levels of government, heck, where would the fight be? So we usually go through one or the other. As soon as you get one government running, whenever that party loses, it seems like a shock. It's such a shock. It's going to disrupt the whole world's going to end because a new party is coming in, and it doesn't end. It goes along, and other changes come in, and it works around, and there's things to learn. It could be said we learn more from our shocks and our sudden losses and things we have to let go of than the things we hold on to. So where Mars is a pushing energy, Jupiter's an expansive energy. Mars is like adrenaline, but Jupiter's expanding the energy. Saturn's restricting it. Uranus is shaking it up. And it's unnerving it. It's energizing it. So this nervous energy will be where it is in your horoscope. You'll see it. It's just there. It's not always predominant. It's not always seen, but it's just like our anxieties. We can be really accomplished. I know some of the strongest people I know, they're working really hard and they're accomplishing things. Everybody's intimidated by them, but when they get alone and try, they're tremendously insecure. And the insecurity has driven them to overcome it or to work with it. So this insecurity can be social, it can be personal, it can come in all the different categories we have. So there is this double side of excitement and anxiety caused by the instability of things or the changingness of things that Uranus represents. And that's true in our life. What do you feel secure about? Your age? What do you feel, what would you be shocked by having to do something you didn't want to have to do, or you thought I shouldn't have to deal with this now. This shouldn't happen to me now when I'm so established. The company shouldn't end, or anything. It doesn't. I'm making big examples, but it could be little things too. So when we come into our relationships, oh boy, we each bring our anxiety with us, our need for freedom, and our trigger points to where we're going to react. So it's like a trigger point, a nervous trigger point, an edgy point where we're trying to break away or we encounter instability or change. But two people, if there's a 5 or 6 year, if there's more than 7 years difference, and sometimes it just takes 3 or 4, it can be, well, it can be a few years difference, and you can still have the planet generally would be in the same sign Uranus, but it can be if you're near the end or beginning of the sign, it just takes a year or two difference when you can be that different. So at the beginning of the sign is really more shocking. At the end of the sign, it's more clear how the Uranus is working through that sign, if you're looking for it. So, okay, well, we're going to put this. So like I said, it's difficult to personalize these outer planets without really being grounded or centered in what it implies the work you have to do. Or how unstable. You may see something exciting and identify to it, but if it's unstable and you don't do the work, it's going to bring a shocking element to your life, and traditional things will break away, like jobs or relationships. So Uranus is a disruptive quality. It's not something one can embrace, it's something one can be alive to and ride with or tune into and go with. But it's hard to be close. It's hard to put up with someone else's Uranus. It's more where the disruptions come from or how it affects you and how yours affects other people. Again, this shows often more in the aspects between charts or within the charts than in the sign, but we have a predisposition to this, things that will trigger off our excitement, our anxiety, nerves. Okay, so where Mercury can make someone restless and impatient, Uranus can really do that. It magnifies that. So when daylight is increasing, the first category, daylight increasing, darkness increasing, when daylight's increasing, the momentum is to be more independent, to be more free, to do things for yourself. Well, Uranus is going to be trying to, if you have Uranus in those signs, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, you're going to be pushing to be the instigator of your own independence, of your own excitement, of your own shocks. You're going to be trying to break away. You're going to be trying to push that excitement out. You're going to try to make that happen. So it'll be more cautious. There'll probably be more of a threat or cautiousness in the Capricorn, Aquarius than Pisces. Be more socially factored, but Aries, Taurus, Gemini is certainly going to be much more blatant of how I'm going to use this excitement or independence. Don't tell me what I can't do. It's the excitement, the shock is moving in a positive way. It's making you want to be more independently exciting. Well, I don't want to work for someone else. I don't want to be locked in here. I want to do my own thing. But at the same time, it can be the very fact that it's breaking you away from working with the team. So there's an increasing accentuation as the daylight's increasing on being more independent, being more free, going towards more excitement, making more excitement happen. Getting off on it. But that's not necessary. By doing that, doesn't mean you're going to be more responsible or or accomplish more. You're moving in that direction, but the more you move in that direction, the less you're being defensive with Saturn. So that daylight increase, when the darkness is increasing, your excitement is coming more in context to other people, about home, family, relationships, how you're getting together, and how we can be exciting or we can be unstable. Who needs this? Like, it's tied up to the involvement together. So the Uranus from Cancer up to Sag is the excitement will come from having an exciting relationship, having exciting involvement with others, and it can often be more being affected by shakeups or shocks, or being worried about too much excitement or freedom in relationships. So sometimes there's a reverse reaction. You get the anxiety from the Uranus and you hold on to the Saturn. Uranus can cause the anxiety that makes you not want to trust freedom or excitement. But the excitement coming towards being more independent versus the excitement of being more involved. One, you're breaking away. Two, you're bringing the unstable element or finding an unstable element in your relationships to others. But as the daylight's increasing, you wouldn't blame that excitement from others. It's going to be you probably moving a bit more away or trying to be more independent or to be the more exciting, radicalizing element. These are very vast concepts. You can just, every time I go, even doing class, I'm going over it. Wow, it's just reaffirming it. I'm looking at I'm seeing the knowledge, I'm seeing the associations, and I'm just trying to imagine a little bit more experientially. And each time I go over this, I learn a little bit more. I see it a little bit more differently. I've grown in experience. when you start working with a chart, you tend to be much more specific, but to understand the vastness of it, it's important because usually you'll understand these themes. They'll show their presence across progressions, across a lifetime of progressions very strongly. Because you start from a certain place. It takes 84 years for Uranus to go around the chart. You're going to experience one cycle, if that, in a lifetime. So anytime it touches, it makes an aspect or does something, it's always something new, something different. It hasn't happened before. But we will get conjunctions, squares, oppositions every 21 to 23 years, somewhere in there. And there is a relationship across these years. Again, that's more in transits. But our predisposition to these, how we're responding, how we're interacting, it's this higher frequency that can't quite be controlled. You know, like electricity. Well, in a funny way, each of the other planets were discovered like almost a century apart. So Uranus was with the steam power and the steam power and getting electricity from steam power, or getting energy from steam power. I wouldn't say necessarily electricity, but energy from the steam power. When it came to Neptune, it was more like oil coming in. But in the steam power was the Industrial Revolution. With Neptune, it was more the oil and the ships and the moving the liquids. With Pluto was really with the discovery of Pluto and plutonium and nuclear power. So each of these things are like our relationship to these outer levels of power. Anyways, let's just keep going on. I'll ramble on as I do. Around here. Oops. Okay, here. Okay, so now when you have the half of the year daylight is greater, half of the year nighttime is greater. So there's more daylight than darkness. So from spring and summertime, if Uranus is in Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, this represents independent excitement, individual excitement, the uniqueness of the individual, the ability to do something different and be able to maintain that eccentricity on one's own. And so that puts the emphasis of the world and the generation on moving on making room for this excitement, allowing this independence to be there. That can be shocking to others, but really that's the undertow. The momentum is the nervous system is pushing people to do their own thing more and more. Again, if you have Uranus in the daylight is greater sign and your sun's in that sign, it's going to be very purposeful for you to be that exciting. If your Uranus is in that daylight is greater sign and your sun and other planets are in the other signs, you're going to want, it's going to threaten the other planets that are opposing, that are in the opposite place. So we'll come to that with the aspects, but you can sort of see this and trying to get the sense of it. When Uranus is in the social signs of Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, they're the team, they're the peer pressure, they're the group-oriented signs. It's looking for the exciting group or wanting excitement of being part of something. And the fitting in or not fitting in, the rejection or the excitement through that, trying to find the stable, exciting group, or finding it and then trying to fit in or stay in it or whatever, it becomes a group factor that gets accentuated. The radical relationships, more than the radical independence.